It has been 2 years since I last did a YouTube video, I think, which is pretty crazy. It's also been 2 years pretty much since I left the army, and I'm gonna get back into posting regularly. So this video is about day one of that process. Okay, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel after like 2 years almost, or maybe even 2 years exactly. I don't quite know, but it's been a while since my last YouTube video. And I'm really looking forward to getting back into it. So this video is gonna be about what happened when I left, what was I up to, what did I do, what am I gonna do now? But also I think what's really interesting is what I've learned along the way. I get a heap of questions from people in the military that are leaving, people before they've joined the military and it's one of their concerns about when they leave, or other people that have left and just how you found it. So I thought it'd be pretty interesting to share with you what I've learned along the way. Now, I'm still doing all the same things. I'm still working, I'm still training. I just stopped videoing for a bit. And the reason is because I basically started a job and I promoted, and all of a sudden life got pretty hectic. And I was just in that position where I couldn't really be bothered, I guess. Didn't have the energy, didn't have the time, all of these classic excuses. And I think in terms of what I've learned, that's one big difference rejoining the civilian world compared to the military is free time, right? There's not much of it. There's not much of it. Obviously it depends what you go and do, but my experience is that I'm a lot busier on a consistent basis out of the army. I'll explain. My experience was you would have periods of time where you were really, really busy, whether that's gearing up to go and be deployed on operations or on exercise, or whether that was you just really busy in camp, whatever that is. But there was always sort of an end point to where you would suddenly take a breather. My learning so far in the civilian world is that end point kind of doesn't come, right? It's just consistently busy. And that's actually been kind of difficult to get used to, if I'm completely honest. But that's kind of the reason as to why I stopped making YouTube videos. So I'm still doing everything else. I'm still training a lot, still really enjoy my fitness. And I've been coaching people online for quite a while now, preparing them for a career in the military, specifically officers. But I was also doing a full-time job. That begs the question, Dan, what have you been up to? So I chose quite early on that I didn't want to go into what I would describe as the big corporate world. I wanted to do something different. Now, one of the things that's always resonated with me has been starting something from scratch and doing something a bit different, to be honest. So my friend who worked in tech at the time, he basically told me to check out this website called otter.com. Essentially, it gave a load of different recommendations to tech startups. So I work and still work right now at a tech startup. So to all the people that have asked about potential careers after the army, there's a whole load I've learned about tech, and especially being in the startup world as well. And it's been super interesting. It's definitely opened my eyes to a completely different type of world that I had no experience in before. And it's been great, super challenging and really busy, but definitely feel like you're part of a team that's all pulling in a direction. You feel like you've got a big say at the company. You feel like you have a real impact. And that's kind of what I wanted. That's, to be honest, maybe the frustrations I had with the army was it's this big, clunky organization that can sometimes be quite slow in the way it moves or changes and responds. And I wanted something a bit more dynamic, quicker. If something's not right, fix it, let's go. And kind of not be bound by what I would describe as like loads of red lines, to be honest. But now I feel really passionate about picking back up the camera and getting back to creating content on a regular basis across all my social channels. I just had to change my battery, so clearly my vlogging skills aren't quite what they were. Not that they were particularly any good, but here we go. I think the next thing is probably discussing what's coming up in future videos. I still get a huge amount of questions from people regarding joining the army, regarding just fitness in general. So that's the other reason that I want to do. I want to share my knowledge, my learnings, my experience, especially if I can help people join the army fitter than they already are. And that's kind of like the whole reason why I started this in the first place. Is I was at the infantry training centre at the time in Catterick, and I actually was having a conversation with a couple of friends, and I'll be honest, we were kind of complaining about some of the recruits that had come through, their fitness levels, and we were a bit frustrated that they hadn't prepared much. And when I spoke to some of them, they said they just didn't know how to prepare, they didn't know what they were preparing for. So I kind of had this realization that if I'm complaining about it, maybe I can help solve some of this problem as well. And by and large, that was the idea behind the Civilian to Soldier series, behind vlogging, behind documenting, behind sharing knowledge, was the idea that if we can help people start training fitter, they can do the course and end up fitter at the end of it. Basically, we can turn out a better quality of soldier. In fact, there's actually one other thing which I forgot to mention around what I've learned, and it's kind of like a big important part, is I realized how easy it is to suddenly fall into this almost trap of how comfortable life is. And I really mean this, right? So in the military, I didn't have to do much thinking about doing hard stuff. There was always something planned. Maybe I was the one planning it at some points, but there was always something you were gearing up towards. The nature of the training is quite difficult anyway. And I've just been kind of like alarmed at how easy it is to suddenly exist in a bubble where life is so comfortable. You know, you can go to the gym and all that sort of stuff, but it's not really the same, right? So that's the other part that I want to do. I want to be doing hard stuff again, because I think there's so much growth that comes from putting yourself in the hurt locker, planning and doing things that are tough, and just constantly pushing yourself and your comfort zone as well. So that's really where I see this going, right? So yeah, super excited to bring you more. Quick one for today, just to say that I'm coming back into it. I'm really looking forward to it. And then more to follow. If you want to be part of this journey, then do click like, do click subscribe. It really helps me out. Click the bell so you can be notified next time I upload a video. And yeah, that is that. See you next week with a brand new video.